Hi, I'm Sarah Williamson. I'm with Bluebirds Unlimited here in Tulsa.
So tell me, a lot of folks put their bird feeders away after the winter time. Now it's spring, birds are having chicks and that kind of stuff. So there's a way we can feed them now too, right?
Yes, that's correct. And actually feeding during nesting season can be very important. They're not having to now go and forage as far away from the nest, so they can stay and protect the young better. And it also just provides enjoyment for yourself, being able to watch those fledglings leave the nest and start learning how to eat on their own.
Do they need just the regular seeds like you feed them in the wintertime too?
You can also in the spring and summertime also feed live mealworms to especially bluebirds, wrens, chickadees, even the cardinals like the live worms. And especially with bluebirds, and really any birds, those insects, live insects, are what they are needing to feed the young, because of the simple fact that that's the only way the young get moistures from the live insects.
Huh, they actually, so that's instead of, they don't get to a water source, so
No.
so they get juicy bugs.
Exactly. Mom and dad can't exactly bring back a cup of water for the babies or even a mouthful of water.
So when you say worms, you mean mealworms, right?
Yes.
Okay, and mealworms we get in the wintertime and, all year round. You can get them
You can
freeze-dried
get them in
like these, right?
freeze-dried form. Yes, you are correct.
And those aren't what you want, though, for chicks.
Not for the young, no. We actually recommend going with live worms that you do keep in your refrigerator, and they can actually stay in your refrigerator for quite a while as long as you properly care for them by pulling those live worms out, especially if you have them in your fridge still after about 2 weeks.
Really?
Pull them out of your refrigerator and actually feed the worms.
What do you have to do? You just put them in the fridge and they'll stay alive? That's it?
Pretty much. By putting them in the fridge, it kind of puts them in a dormant state. So it helps slow that life cycle of the worm into what's called the darkling beetle. And by pulling those worms out of your fridge, you are able to feed them. Very easy to feed in the fact that they do eat banana peels, orange peels, sliced up apple, baby carrots, anything like that. Feed them for a good 24 hours. Let them get the nourishment that they need. Throw them back in the fridge after that 24 hours. And then continue to feed the birds outside with those live worms.
Can you show us some of these
Sure.
things? What do they look like?
So this would be a cup of 500 worms.
Oh.
Very squiggly here in a moment once they start to warm up.
So, and then you just put them out on a tray or on a dish, or where do you put them in?
We do recommend just kind of a small, definitely a smooth-sided feeder or little dish. I mean, it could even be, something as simple as like a little Pyrex dish type thing, and set that out for the birds. And that smooth side allows for the worms to stay contained in the feeder and not escape.
So I imagine they go through them pretty quick, don't they?
Some of the birds they can, and it's amazing how many worms a bluebird will try to fit into their mouth to take back to the nest when they have a bunch of hungry mouths to feed.
There you go. And so bluebirds and I guess everybody eats a worm, right? Just about any kind of.
Just about, yes. Even those darn pesky starlings will eat the worms as well, which we do have feeders to help avoid that, so that just your smaller birds are able to get those.
So is there some strategy to it? You maybe put a few out at a certain time of day or something, or?
Interesting that you asked that. So actually bluebirds and wrens are definitely two birds that you can train to come, as long as you are consistent the time of day that you go out with those worms and consistently make the exact same noise or even ring a bell. You can train them to come in so that when you're putting them out, they're the first ones to hit that feeder, and they know that those worms are out there for them.
Handy trick.